back after a while of doing other kind of content, but I'm here and I thought it's important to address something. Hey, alright, I'm back to my finance experiment, and I know I've come back after a while. I've been trying to create other fun content, like as you may have seen, I've created my face experiment, my fashion experiment, which I started off with, but it's really important time to address this issue. As you have seen in the developments in the last few weeks, we've been faced with US and Israel onslaught war on Iran, the retaliation, which has led us to this point where we'll be facing a lot of issues coming forward. And as you've already seen, the market's taken a hit if anyone's keeping track. I thought it's important we can discuss what all has happened. So as you know, it's the same thing. I'm going to be going through the same format. I'll do a get ready with me, and I'll also address financial portfolio right now. So I want to discuss like what you want to do. I want to keep options for you so that whatever decision you take forward, it should be an informed decision. There's just like a couple of ways on what you should be doing if you want to do anything at all. Alright, so we'll move forward and I'll get started. Okay, so alright, we'll be starting off with the primer. I think I've already done this previously. This is my go-to primer. I take only a little bit, but I'm just going to shop or jet. Like I'm just going to go shopping with my chacha for some mojeries which he wants to take back to New York. I'm not doing something hardcore. All the areas I'm going to be working on, I'm putting the primer there. So the product doesn't have to be necessarily poured all over. There are two approaches which I have. One is that if you're cash rich or you're cash poor, whichever category you fall into, that's the approach I would say you could assess and you could see if that works for you and you can take forward. So I'm moving on to concealer. Just gonna again apply it only in areas which I feel like have some kind of pigmentation or kind of marks or blemishes. That we're keeping it minimal and light. So when you are cash rich, that means you have a little flexibility and obviously you have advantage in the market. So I'm just applying it to certain areas which I feel like would meet any coloration. You have to also let it oxidize because that just means that the color may change to yellow or gray. So I think you have to let it sit for some time. When you have money, so you're not running after, like you don't need to like take any loans, you don't have to break any FDs, or you don't have to stop your mutual funds, or you don't have to sell any of your stocks. So you don't need money immediately at hand, and you have a job or you're comfortable at home, you have like secure finances. So any of those categories fall into, this would mean you are cash rich. You have the option of a couple of things. One is that as you can see, the stock market tanks. So this is the time all the stocks kind of plummet. So that's called the dip. It's at its low prices. It's likely to go down further because the war seems to be taking a different turn. It's trying to send boots on the ground. US Israel will send military. The Strait of Hormuz, where all the oil, gases and all the trading takes place via the shipments, those all will get affected. So anything that's reaching India via that channel will be affected. Companies that are listed and any of them are dependent on that channel are likely to tank. This is the time you could buy the dip, as you might have heard. Have the chance to buy stocks which you've been eyeing, and don't have to go around buying everything that you have, had on your wish list. Make sure that they're secure enough. Just kind of monitor it slow. And I'm going to let it oxidize, okay? Take it slow, keep watching, and then they face a dip. I think that's a good time because you know that the company has been gradually doing well. So it's a fairly reliable time to pick it up. But if it's like this kind of a steep uphill in a very short span of time, they have skyrocketed. So their likely dip is very strong, and to go up at that steep level, usually chances are lower. So don't go ahead buying all of them today or tomorrow, whatever. Money that you have, then you can keep buying the dips. So you don't have to buy them all at one go. Maybe buy one, it's dipped a bit. No idea. But best bet is to keep monitoring and keep seeing what happens next. And as for like what kind of categories or what kind of industries or sectors which I would recommend, I'm not pro AI, I'm not pro data centers, and I definitely think that resources of your planet should be used for more important things. Protect the planet, protect the skies, protect the air, protect the forests. That's on a different tangent. If you're looking at it very purely commercially, purely financially, then yeah, AI seems to be the biggest tech development. And every time tech does well in the industry, in history, we watch a lot of other YouTubers as well. They have addressed these things really well, and I've watched them, and that's how I kind of understand it as well. It just helps to know more always. I will proceed with my brows. So here is the brow pencil I'll be using. It's usually a very lighter version of brown and not all black, but I don't want it to be too stark. Usually when I'm wearing a darker lip color, then I might wear something dark, because then it's just like all the focus goes in one area. But yes, I'm going with a very light look today. So I do start from here, the edges. So the AI is an area which seems to be doing well, and if you want to just make money, then most of the industries on the planet are relieving people of their work, they're firing everyone, and they're in hordes. So there's like 2,500, 10,000 laid off. So imagine all those people losing their jobs, and there are many banks and so many companies are taking that same step. So obviously AI currently is a very go-to aspect of most companies right now. The regions which you want to invest in via stocks, you could. Now for the people who have like mutual funds, if they are also segment oriented, or if their mutual funds are like sector oriented, so obviously if you have like large cap, mid cap, or your flexi cap, or your small cap, large cap, there is some regulation in their growth, their return. These are the companies that can endure the kind of shifts in the market, in the economy, and they don't get as rattled as small companies do. It's not as steep as what you would see in like a small cap or even a mid cap. If you have large cap and if you have flexi cap, these have been more or less doing better and faring better than the small caps. And then I use the back part to kind of just smudge the coloring I have. The small cap has not been faring all that well. They've taken a bigger hit. It would be okay to put in more money on your large caps. So if you want to get new ones, this is okay time. But I'm okay. I feel like if you already have established mutual funds from the start, it's okay to let them continue. Avoid any experimental kind of mutual funds like small cap or any of the hybrid varieties. I think this is a safe bet, whatever you have currently. Kajal. I use very simple ones. I don't go for necessarily branded ones. This one's like mid-pigmented. You are cash poor. Cash poor doesn't necessarily mean poor. All it means is that you'd rather keep the cash handy, your savings, and not mess around experimenting as of now, because you need it. Your resources may be limited. One of those people who are more particular about protecting your money. The assets may not be as permanent. Uncertain times coming ahead. I think even if you may be cash rich, but always good to be safe and be in the cash poor category or take those actions. Moving on to the lash curler. I'm not a brand particular one. That's also because like I don't like spending on products which you can get with like regular brands as well. Lashes have a certain nature. If they are straight or if they're downward, then whatever you use kind of starts coming on anyway. But there's a trick to which you can use to curl them further. When you're cash poor, the best bet is to do nothing. A very difficult time which wanting to sell because you see your stocks tanking and rather have the money. And if you're absolutely desperate and you have no other sources and you feel like you need this essentially right now, then you would have to sell. If you are not in that position, in a more blessed situation, then yes, please hang on to them, because this is that dip. It will plummet, it will tank, it will rise. The worst part about owning stocks, you bought it at a certain price, and when they go down, then you're not even getting a profit. So it hurts. So I would say, if you can, don't do anything, let them be. How I curl my lashes. So I let them sit on my eyelid, and I let the hair kind of pick up in this opening. Count like 10 counts, up to 10 counts. So let it go on for that long. The longer effect I've seen, as opposed to just like crisping them and then continuing. So the trick is these are your lashes. So you crisp it from here, then you crisp it from here, then you crisp it from here. So they just inevitably have like a bigger curl. What you could do is charge your mutual funds. Take few units out, only if you absolutely need it. Don't withdraw all your mutual funds, because then you'll be taxed very heavily for the recent ones you've done. So anything under here, you'll be taxed as a short term, and anything longer, you are anyway going to be taxed for the long term tax. But if you do need to desperately withdraw everything which is up until a year. It's not a great time in the market when it's dipping to withdraw at that time. Best time in the market is always when it's high. Your stocks are doing really well, because then you'll get its maximum worth, because whatever you bought it at, whenever you started your mutual funds, it has been bought at a certain price. And as the stocks do better, then you get more of your units worth. Right now the market is doing not so well, so you will not get its great amount back. Like, don't redeem those units right now. Next, we'll be moving on to mascara. This is my go-to mascara. I love it. You'll see how the lash curling has its effect once I've applied the mascara. If you're not withdrawing any of your mutual fund units, you can install them. My trick to applying mascara is that I just kind of go in this direction, opposite direction, instead of like this, at the top bits. I don't do heavily in the beginning part of my eye. I like doing it more wispy at the end. Another option is to stall the mutual funds, and this you can do if you have an aggregator like ICICI, Lombard, which is what I use. You use any of the other, have multiple mutual funds, go to the individual companies. So if you have like CCAP, Parag, Parik, go to their website, Bandhan, Small Cap, whatever, go directly to their website. You will have to log in to put in your mobile number or your email, and you'll get OTP, redeem, or you want to stop or pause, whatever it is. Pause them temporarily whenever the market's kind of shaky to me. I think 3 times the max that you can stall them, but again, every individual company varies. So Mirae Asset Management Company may have more options. Again, you can stall them for 3 months, you can stall them for 6 months. Those options will be mentioned on the website while you are stalling them. If you have a lump sum, then that's different, because then it does not affect it. If you have a lump sum, you want to redeem that, it's been over a year, that's a good one to look out for. So you can see how my lashes are. So we'll be moving on to the lip liner. Okay, we've discussed like cash rich, cash poor. The important advice is that please do not take any loans right now. Do not borrow money to tap into the dip right now. I know it feels like this is a great time, but we don't know how long this war will last. The repercussions may fall even longer on our country, our economy. So if you borrow money and you don't have any source of returning it, vicious circle. So for doing any of these kind of things, I would say please never borrow your mutual funds to get a loan, to secure anything. Always, just better to have money than to not. If you like to overline, this is the best area to overline. Just your Cupid's bow area. I don't recommend overlining the corners. You see like this kind of like contour area of the lip. You want to bring around the front a little, bring it into the color of for the blurry effect, use your finger, smudge it. Now I'm just going for a color within. Preferably do not withdraw and redeem all your SIPs. Go for the large caps if you can, or go for the flexi caps if you have. If at all you need to withdraw them. Don't withdraw the small caps because their prices have dipped, their value has dipped. So if you put in 100 rupees, you won't even get 100 rupees back. The invested amount will be so much higher than what its value is currently. Larger caps because their worth is better. Alright, so I'm going to be using, I just put a little and I smudge it. The impact of the darker lip liner. I should have done my eyeshadow earlier. Usually you have to do it before your mascara, but I'm just going to be dabbing in the center of it. So I'm going to use this two-sided, two color options. Use the lighter one. I'm going to shut my eyes and just do it at the center. I will just use this and kind of just brush it across for that little pop on my eye. So every time you can see a little bit of the light in the center. Same to this side. It's these small details that elevate your look and they make it look a little more fresh. I don't go all the way up because it just looks nice in the center. I kind of do it in the corner. You can do it even further down. Yeah, kind of smudge it. Don't add any other color. As per our financial history, kind of financial crisis that takes place usually has about more or less a gestation period of like 2 to 5 years. In 2020, because of COVID, then it had taken about 2 years to kind of start getting stable again. They started doing really well again, and there was an uphill after even that stable point. So if it was here, it went down here, and then when it started doing well again. You can wait for the prices to go back up. You are comfortable enough to endure that period for it to normalize, to start doing well again, then great. So I'm just going to put like a quick setting spray. It's not really needed because I don't have so much product on my face. So I do it like, X format. So any place which needs a little dewy effect. Oh, sorry, gotta tell you. This is the NYX setting spray. A bit of gloss at the center of my lips. This is the Jisoo one. I'm only doing it because I feel it's a little glossy touch on my eyelids, and just to match that, I'm going to put a little in the center. And while I talk, it will keep spreading. Not go completely plain, because while my top may have like a cute little lace trim at the neckline, I think like a little fun addition are these like pearls, which are kind of like worn in a twisted fashion. This is only because I'm literally just wearing like jeans and t-shirts. Holiday tomorrow, it is Eid tomorrow, Navratras are going on. It's going to be a little festive, so in honor of that, I should have twisted it more. But yeah, just want to match the glossy gleam with a little bit of pearls. I hope it looks good, but yes, we are touching on the final bit. You'd rather have cash in hand, you'd rather have cash easy to access from your banks. That's your safe bet. And always in financial crisis, there to have options. We don't know what will happen to petrol, we don't know what will happen to our gases, how do we cook, how to move, we get imports across state lines or even in the city. You know, basics are essentials. These things all are going to come into question, and if you're in an area where you have access to these things, you will need cash for that. So stay safe, stay secure. We will just go forward with whatever happens next. Thanks for staying. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Bye.